Hello, Donna Kato here. Welcome to my channel. So glad you're here. Now today I'm going to be doing a very short little class, and basically it's using canes that you have to make simple little earrings. Now, everything we make doesn't have to be super fancy and very expensive. And as a matter of fact, if you are manufacturing and selling at shows, frequently you want something that falls within a lower price range. And at that lower price range, it means that you're probably not spending as much time making them. Now, of course, if you're using canes, well, you've already made the cane. You've invested time in it. So this is another way of making those simple little earrings, very simple, using an existing finding. This is stainless steel, and this is what we're going to use to make these. Now we're also going to seal it with resin. That's what the shiny is. This is not liquid clay. This is actually 2-part resin. We're going to do that too. So let us get started. Woohoo! So let us begin with the actual finding. Now this is stainless steel. I used to use more base metal, and I think it's worth it if you just invest just a little more money. Oh, I just started my pasta machine. And invest in something that's a slightly better material like stainless steel. Now, in the old days, sterling silver used to be affordable. I don't find it all that affordable these days, personally. So I think that stainless steel is a perfectly good option for things like earrings like this that are making to fall in the, let's say, $18 to $22 range, something like that. Not really, really expensive. Perfect for craft shows, Christmas shows, things like that. Okay, so here they are, and they have this kind of closure, which is great. And so that, most of the work is done for us. You don't have to put a back on it. The back is already there. The back is part of the whole piece. Okay, so I think I'm going to use this one, the Plumeria. Now, this guy, of course, was this cane, that 4-day cane that I made, and I like this very much, but let's do the Plumeria. So what I had to do was basically simply reduce this round cane, and this finding is 16 millimeters across. Now, that's almost an exact fit. Oh, it is an exact fit. There we go. So you can see I've reduced it to the size that I need. All right. So let me take my blade and I will cut 2 slices. Two little slices. Now they do not have to be very thick slices, of course. Because I am going to use that 2-part resin. My hands are so dry. It isn't even winter and my hands are dry. I'm just going to drop it right in there, and then with my finger I'm just pushing it down. Okay, now let's take this and let's make sure that it's the mirror image. Now, is that? Yes, that is, I believe, the mirror image. I will take this and I will put this slice inside. I will try to position it so I think that looks very good. Make sure that the position is correct. And now I will just ease it in. If it's a little bit too large, you can just take your finger and pull in slightly and then push the edge. Pull in slightly, push the edge. Okay. Now, because these are quite plain, I will take a little crystal. These are not Swarovski. They're some kind of cheap glass crystal, but you know what? They're pretty sparkly, so that's what we're going to use. Just make sure you're using glass. This is a rhinestone picker pencil. So I'm just going to pick up a crystal, put it there in the center, and then I just take the back of a bamboo skewer and I'm just going to push it in so you can see just a little bit of sparkle there. Oops, come on. Gotta get a crystal, da, 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 so it's not stuck to the back. There we go. Why not? And now I will take the back of this guy and push it in. All right, so these are basically ready to be cured. Now, because they are left and right? They're mirror images. What I do is from this point forward, I pair them up. And so they will cure like this together. And I don't separate them. Well, they will have to be separated when we do this, but then I have another system for making sure that they are still paired. I don't want to mix them up and end up putting the wrong sides together. All right, so let me make a few more and then I will show you. Well, actually, I don't have to show you. I just lay these in a pan. So there would be pairs of them, many, many pairs, because this is a kind of project that's really perfect for kind of, you know, working. What am I trying to say? You know, I've been losing words, you guys. I'm really sorry. But anyway, you want to make many pairs and work it so that you make many pairs of earrings at the same time. Okay. All right. So let me cure these, and then we are going to work with the 2-part epoxy. Okay, so while those earrings are in the oven, let's talk about, this little tool I make to help me, because it's like an assembly line, right? I'm going to make many pairs at the same time. So I don't want to have to try to figure out how to keep them flat. You see, the good part about the finding is you don't have to add any of the finding. The bad thing is, look, it sits. How am I going to make it sit flat? Well, my solution is to take this, which is something that came as a part, you know, packing material. And it is some kind of styrofoam. So, of course, you don't want it to burn. Now, part of the process of curing the resin is actually to take a lighter and run it over the resin as it's curing, and that brings the bubbles to the surface. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking my trusty HVAC tape. I'm going to cut 3 pieces that are slightly larger. You see how it hangs over here and it hangs over here. So I need 1 more for this, because this is what I will use to stabilize these earrings through that resin curing process. You see, I'm not using a UV resin. I'm using 2-part resin that cures over time, just exposed to air. All right, so let us take this piece, peel off the backing, and I'm just going to run this straight down the middle of this block, as close as I can to the middle, like so. Okay, just like that. I know you guys think, oh, that woman, she must have stock in HVAC. No, I don't. But I like it a lot. I use it a lot. I think that this is a really good application for it. Okay, so I've just sealed that in. So let me do another piece on the top. Let's peel the backing off, like so. And I want it to hang over here, and the corner is actually there. So the tape is extending beyond the edge. Because essentially I'm just going to kind of wrap the corner and get the sides a bit with the tape. Could have moved that over just a tad, but I think we're okay. Now let's turn this over, and here's one corner. So you can see that the tape extends beyond like that. So I'm just going to cut the corner like so. Now, at this point, I will take this piece and just fold it down like so. Now I'm going to cut this corner kind of the same way. Let's cut some of this excess away because it's just kind of getting in my way. And then at this corner, I will cut like so. Bring this up, fold it over like that. Now I will take this tape and fold it over. It's kind of like wrapping a present, I think. And then fold it over. So now I have a nice corner like so. Okay. Like that. Now let me do the other piece and I will be back. All right, so here is my tape covering just this one side of this very thick block. Now, what I will do, I'm going to move my pasta machine foot pedal over a bit, so maybe I won't step on it again. Wouldn't that be nice? Okay, so now I'm going to take my scalpel and I'm going to make slits and cut right down into the foam. Like so. Okay, and then I'm going to leave maybe an inch and cut again. And so I will make a series of cuts in this block, just like that. Just like this. So just keep making slits like so. You can get quite a few slits in a block this size. Now, what will happen next is, quite simply, taking your earrings that you've got paired off and then pushing them into the slit. You just push the finding down into the slit like that, and it's flat, okay? Now, there might be times when you should really check and look and make sure that the finding is not sitting crooked, okay? So you try to make those adjustments, all right? You will then, of course, I don't have all my slits in, but you can fill the whole block with your paired off earrings. Okay, so let me continue. I will continue to cut the slits, and then I will be back. Maybe our earrings will be cured soon. Okay. All right, so my earrings are cured. They're still paired off. Works very well. So let's just put them. I'm doing laundry. I'm very linty. Okay, so I'm just going to push it right in there. So we'll get them all in. Paired up like that. Nice and flat. Nice and flat. In we go. Okay. Da, da. Now, this isn't going to last forever because nothing lasts forever, does it? But it sure is helpful. It sure is. You see, when you go to take and pull them out, it's going to, see, I'll show you here. You go to take it out and this big part comes out and see, work. Well, all you have to do is kind of flatten it again and use it because that part is covered up by the finding. And basically this HVAC tape, what it is going to do for us is it is going to make sure that we do not breathe any plastic gases, burning plastic gases, okay? You'll understand when you see, if you haven't done any resin like this before. Okay, so first of all, I'm not a resin expert. I would never claim to be. There are people who do a lot more resin than I do. This is essentially the only time I use resin is when I make these earrings. I'm seeing some, yeah, a little bit of dirt. Okay, so let me see. I'll just scrape it off. How's that? I'll just do my best. Scrape it off. Like so. Okay, so let me set this aside because now we have to talk about resin, which I am not an expert at. Okay, so I purchased several different kinds. I purchased UV resin. I have UV light, and that worked fine, except I couldn't do a lot of them, right? Because I don't happen to have this huge UV resin light. So the two-part resins made a lot more sense to me. Now, I haven't used this one before, Dr. Resin, but he had very good reviews on Amazon. So that's why I got them. I got another kind too, worked just fine. Essentially, these resins comes with very nice instructions in the box. Okay, Dr. Resin Casting and Coating Epoxy Resin is a 100% solids, high gloss, crystal clear, industrial strength product featured in a wide variety of designs. Each kit contains a bottle of resin and a bottle of hardener, which are mixed together at a 1-to-1 ratio by volume. That's easy enough, isn't it? Okay, so now that you know the important, there's more important information here, but for our purposes right now, that's really all you have to know. There is the resin, and there is the hardener, and these are very pretty bottles. This also comes with popsicle sticks and these measuring cups, which I will not use because they're really nice measuring cups. I'm going to use them for something else. I prefer to go by weight, and you got gloves. Okay, so the only thing I want to double check and to make sure is it's the same mixing time. The other one I had, you mix for 3 minutes. Doink-a-doink-a-doink, mixing for at least 3 minutes to avoid air bubbles. Now that explanation was not included to avoid air bubbles in the other one I have, but okay, I'll take it. I'll take it. Okay, so I want you to read, of course, if you use any of these products, you got to read the whole thing. And I have read enough of these. Okay. Shall I use gloves? Okay. I'll use gloves. I'll use gloves. I'll use these pretty blue gloves. I hope I don't make a mess of it. I don't know. There's nothing like, fingers touching stuff. I'm not going to use these, okay? So, I just have to have a better feel. Okay, so I'm going to use my kitchen scale. Now, how much resin do I need for just these many pairs of earrings? This is not a lot. Let's say I was going to fill the whole thing, then I'd probably need at least 10 grams of each of these for a total of 20 grams of mixed resin. But I'm not going to need that much. I will have leftover. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mix like 5 and 5. Okay, even then I will have more than I need. I'm going to take my Apple Watch, and I have a 3-minute thingy, so that's what I will set. I have my own little mixing cup, and I have a bamboo skewer, which is what I always use. Okay, so let us begin with the resin. And take this, I hate these little things. Come on. Okay, let me open the bottles. All right, so I got these pesky foil things off by just cutting with my scalpel. And, you know, of course, I cut this one, and then I clean this really well before I cut this one, because if you get these two parts mixing together, that starts a chemical reaction. So you've always got to keep these two separate, okay? Yeah, okay. All right, let's do it. And that's why open one bottle, close the bottle. Open the other bottle, close the bottle, because you don't want to mix up the lids. And if you want to be extra careful, you could either put R for resin, H for hardener, okay? So you don't mix them up, because you don't want to start that chemical reaction and then end up with a bottle of like hard. Okay, so let's turn this on. Set to grams. Tare, so I've zeroed it out again. And now I am going to try to carefully, just very carefully, weigh out. You know, I think I'm just going to go with 3 grams. 3. Wipe the bottle off. I think 3 will be fine. Put the lid on. Now I'm aiming for 6. And those of you, I'm sure many of you have a lot more experience with this than I do. You can probably give me some tips about how to work with this. We're at 5. Let me see if I can get just, maybe that drop will do it. And this is not an air dry material until you mix the two. So take your time with the mixing. Come on. 6. Sometimes the little scale gets stuck. Okay. It looked to me like it was good. All right, now I am going to set my timer to 3 minutes, and I am going to start mixing. And you don't have to watch me for 3 minutes, so I'm turning my camera off, and I'll be back. Okay, so we are at time. Let me turn off my watch. So this is what it looks like. You see, so there are minute bubbles in there. Okay, now this doesn't immediately turn hard, so you do have a little bit of time to work with it. Now, my fancy tool is actually this. Some of you may have better ways of doing it, and if so, please put it in the comments for the benefit of everyone. All right, so I just scoop some out and then drop it in. Because I'm right-handed, I work left to right. Let me scoop some more in, just drop it in there. Work it toward the edge of the finding. You know that cane slices is sitting at the bottom of the finding, so you're going to fill up most of the finding with the resin. Okay, now I have made quite a few of these earrings, and I tend to put them on and even forget I've got them on. So I've showered with them on, and I must tell you that prolonged exposure to like soaps and things, This is not good for the resin that I used because it got a little cloudy on the surface. So if you have somebody like me, you might want to tell them, you know, prolonged exposure to soaps and conditioners and stuff like that may cloud the surface of your beautiful resin earrings. Okay. All right. So I will continue filling and then I'll be back. But you can see what happens here. I'm just aiming my resin at the center, pushing it to the perimeter, and trying very hard not to get it to go over the sides, because if it goes over the sides, it runs over the sides. Ask me how I know. Yeah. Yeah, it happened to me. Okay. This is looking pretty good so far. So let me turn off the camera, finish this up, and I will be back. Okay, so I have pretty much filled everything. I'm just gonna put an additional little drop in there. Now, as long as you don't go over the edge, you should be fine. But if you go over the edge, it's gonna fall off. It's gonna fall out. Okay, so just make sure you don't go over the edge. Now you can see even the first ones I did, I can still add that little drop and it just gets integrated in. Oh no, I fell off the edge. See, I was careless, I was talking, and that is not good. So I'm going to take this little piece. This is just some stuff I have sitting here. I'm just going to wipe it away. Okay. Now, I can't really pick it up because if I pick it up, I'm going to make a bigger mess. So maybe those are my earrings. Could be, could be, could be. And 5 or 4, actually 3 grams, turned out to be perfect for this many earrings. And filling up that much space, I have some left over. All right, now, if you can see, there are tiny, minute surface bubbles or bubbles. That's where this lighter comes in. I got this on Amazon. It has a nice long neck. So what I'm going to do is, and I'll move the camera, maybe I'll even, how about that, tighten it up a bit. How about there? I'll aim for like this guy. As you can see, there are surface bubbles. So let me fire it up. And you can see that the heat from the lighter eliminates the bubbles. Okay, and that's why I covered it with this HVAC tape because, and I have to admit this to you guys, I'm not the most careful person, so I was doing this without the HVAC tape and holding my breath so that I didn't breathe the plastic fumes. Well, you know, I can't tell you, I can't advise you to do that, can I? No. I did it. I won't do it anymore. I've prepared these pieces, these tape-covered pieces, and they are perfect for my purposes. Now, I've eliminated all the bubbles, quite simply with a lighter. Okay, so just if you see a bubble appear, you're going to take the lighter, you just take the edge of the flame, run it over the top, and the bubbles will pop. Okay. All right, so that is it. Now, this is going to sit for a couple of days. I just set it aside someplace where I think Dusty won't get it, and I won't knock it over, and, you know, just the usual stuff. So let me show you what they look like when they're done. So I'll see you in a couple of days. I'll be back. Okay, so it's been one day, and here are my earrings. And you know, if I take my finger, rub it across the top, yes, it's like the surface is hard, it's cured, it's not going anywhere. But there's a little bit of sticking, like it's not totally smooth like glass when you just run your finger across. This is the older earring, and when I do that, it just feels like, well, there's, you know, my finger glides a little smoother on it. Now, I'm going to leave this for another day, and at the end of that day, I think that this is going to be perfectly cured, nice and hard. And as I'm looking at the pieces, well, one of these I had a problem. There was a little piece of schmutz in there. Yeah, there's the schmutz. So, you know what? Maybe this earring and whatever. The worst earrings are always mine. So anyway, that is pretty much it. Now I showed you removal. It's just very simple. You're just going to pull it out. And of course, because of the shape of this piece on the bottom, it's going to pull that foil up a bit. Not a big problem. Just push it down, smooth it out again, and then push the new finding when you have to use this piece again. So that is it. I hope you've learned something. I hope you enjoyed it. It's just a very simple little project, but something that may come in handy for those times when you need just a little gift, or you want to sell, you want to provide your customers with something that isn't really, really expensive, but you know, it's an expression of you and something you made. So that's it. I'm Donna Kato, and I'll be signing off now until we meet again. Bye.